Deshaun Watson and Jeudy built something in South Florida that Shedeur Sanders was not invited to. Mid-February through April 2026, Watson trained in South Florida while the Browns' facility in Berea sat empty. He was cleared by the team's medical staff for all football activities. He called the receivers. Jeudy posted the photo. The mechanism? Watson and Jeudy played together in just 7 games before injuries ended the 2024 season, and they spent an entire offseason, private workouts, no cameras, no competition, rebuilding the timing the Achilles stole. Shedeur Sanders was in the building, Watson was in Florida, and Jeudy said directly, "For a receiver, it's always good to have your quarterback consistent years. That's only going to help you build chemistry." That statement covers both quarterbacks. The field then decided which chemistry was further along. Here's the full Florida to minicamp record.
Critiques or attaboys or stuff to work for a watch on, he was just out there by himself. And now, just with an offseason and living in Cleveland, because he said, look, hey, you didn't appear to be working out elsewhere or traveling a lot, you were here. And he told him, because this is the most important thing in my life right now.
Yes.
So I'm going to be in Cleveland. My house is in Cleveland. I'm here working. I'm trying to learn.
Here is the complete Watson-Jeudy Florida connection that the Cleveland Browns media confirmed, and that turned the early 2026 offseason into a two-front competition. Shedeur Sanders was navigating from inside the building, while Watson operated outside it. According to Browns insider Mary Kay Cabot of Cleveland.com, Watson had been training in South Florida since mid-February 2026. The session started months before the Browns' offseason program officially opened on April 8th at Cross Country Mortgage Campus in Berea. The two were not training alone. Daniel Oyefusi of ESPN confirmed Watson was working out with multiple Browns receivers in Florida, including Jeudy, Isaiah Bond, and Jamari Thrash, just days before the offseason program began. Jeudy confirmed the purpose directly on camera. "It's consistently growing each and every day. Just keep picking each other's brains, learning these plays, learning these concepts, understanding each other's minds, what we are going through in each process, just having that chemistry, and just talking about the routes. The ball is just going to help us in the long run." Watson, South Florida since mid-February, Jeudy, Bond, and Thrash in the sessions. Months of private reps before a single Browns offseason practice. Shedeur Sanders was in the building. Watson built chemistry in the sunshine with the top 3 receiving targets on the roster. Todd Monken added institutional confirmation of what Sanders had been doing on his end. The new head coach said directly, "It's too early to really evaluate him, other than it's been great that he's been in the building. It's refreshing to see a player that recognizes where he's at and where he wants to get to." In the building. That is Monken's full characterization of Sanders in early April. Watson's equivalent characterization, months of private workouts in South Florida with the top 3 receiving targets on the roster.
Yeah.
Now he's finally in a system or organizational system that at least right now is fair. He got a shot. He's not being ostracized or limited or like, okay, I'm watching you and giving you a chance, but I'm only giving you 5 reps and everybody else getting 15. I'm only giving you 3 and everybody else getting.
The competition did not begin when the offseason program opened. It began in February, and Watson had a 4-month head start that was invisible to the public. Watson, South Florida since mid-February with WR1, building private chemistry. Sanders in the building. Monken called that refreshing. It was also the starting gap. Here's why the Florida connection carried a specific weight that went beyond routine offseason work, and it connects directly to the sideline incident that exposed where Sanders and Jeudy actually stood heading into 2026. December 1st, 2025, Browns versus the 49ers. Second start of Shedeur Sanders' rookie career. On the opening drive, Jeudy was open early on an in route. Sanders did not throw it. Jeudy got free behind the defense. Sanders overthrew him. The broadcast cameras caught what happened next. On the sideline, Jeudy clapped his hands and said, that's wrong," before center Ethan Pocic stepped in to separate them. Yardbarker confirmed it. 5 catches in 11 targets for 75 yards and 0 touchdowns in 2.5 games with Sanders as quarterback. Brown Zone's Scott Petrak confirmed the pattern. Jeudy's aggravation was noticeable the last couple of games after Sanders missed him with a pass or didn't throw his way when he was opened. December 2025, Jeudy says that's wrong on the sideline during Sanders' second start. February 2026, Watson calls Jeudy to South Florida for private sessions. The Florida trip didn't happen in a vacuum. It happened 6 weeks after that sideline moment.
I want defense stopping people. I want to see them engage. But having said that, in this particular situation, it's just like you articulated, Chico. The receiver stopped running. It ended up being an interception. And what did Shedeur say in his sophomore year in the NFL? Hey, dog, we can't have that now.
Hell no,
you got to keep going. You got to show me your speed because I'm trying to develop timing with you.
The December Bears game compounded it. A Sanders pass to Jeudy in the end zone, timed perfectly, right to him, resulted in an interception when Jeudy mistimed his jump and Bears cornerback Jaylon Johnson ripped the ball out. Yardbarker reported directly, the interception against the Bears won't increase Sanders' trust in Jeudy, who's having a down year. That was the full Sanders-Jeudy picture entering the 2026 offseason. A visible sideline argument, an end zone interception that went viral, a WR1 whose receiving average had fallen from his career-high 72.3 yards per game to his career low 38.2. Watson flew to South Florida in February and called Jeudy, Bond, and Thrash. He had seen enough. That's wrong. December 1st, 2025, Jeudy to Sanders on the sideline. February 2026, Jeudy in South Florida catching passes from Watson. The WR1 made his preference known before the competition officially began. Here is what the Florida connection could not account for, and what Shedeur Sanders said publicly that reframed the entire competition. During mandatory minicamp on June 11, 2026, Jeudy Sanders walked to the podium and addressed the quarterback battle directly. According to Scott Petrak of the Chronicle-Telegram, Sanders told reporters, "I think the way y'all look at things is different than how we look at things. We look at coming to practice every day, being the best player we can be as an individual and as a good teammate."
That's right, man. Like, you can't be convinced of that. Like, there's some people that do not want the Browns to win because negativity gets more clicks than positivity. A bad story, a negative story on Shedeur gets more views than a positive story. CNN, NBC, all them jokers, they don't report how many planes land safely.
That statement does not mention Watson. It does not mention Florida. It does not mention Jeudy's sideline comments or the December interception or the 3 months of private South Florida workouts. It describes a player who has already decided the external narrative is not his competition. Here is what the field confirmed between April and June. Watson went 11 of 17 in May OTA 11-on-11 drills with 6 touchdowns. Shedeur then led the first-team offense in virtually every competitive drill on June 5th. Cabot called it a paradigm shift. The Florida connection could not survive 2 months of daily practice reps. Jeudy confirmed the reversal on camera as well, in a statement that covered both quarterbacks, but landed differently in context. Bleacher Report confirmed Jeudy's direct assessment of Sanders in OTAs. He's more comfortable, more confident, not a loyalty statement to Watson, an observation of the player taking first-team reps on June 5th. Jeudy said separately, for a receiver, it's always good to have your quarterback consistent years. Being able to have Deshaun and Shedeur back this year, all those guys I played with last year, is a great feeling. One quarterback built chemistry in South Florida with him privately for 3 months. The other made Jeudy say more comfortable, more confident during the OTAs that produced what Mary Kay Cabot called a paradigm shift. The Florida connection was real. The field erased it. Watson, mid-February to April in South Florida with Jeudy, Bond, and Thrash. Shedeur in the building. June 5th, a paradigm shift. June 11th, I think the way y'all look at things is different than how we look at things. The Florida advantage had a 2-month shelf life.
We gonna talk. And so this dude was raised like this. It ain't nobody in that Cleveland media that has got the capability of rattling Shedeur beyond how his own daddy done rattled him practicing and raising him. Look at that smile.
Here is the complete Watson-Jeudy Sanders triangle entering 2026 training camp. Watson trained in South Florida from mid-February through early April. Per Mary Kay Cabot, the sessions had been going since mid-February. Per ESPN's Daniel Oyefusi, Watson worked out with Jeudy, Isaiah Bond, and Jamari Thrash in Florida days before the official offseason program began. Jeudy confirmed the purpose: timing, chemistry, ball placement, understanding each other's minds on every route. December 2025 context: the sideline "That's Wrong" exchange. 5 catches, 11 targets, 75 yards, 0 touchdowns for Jeudy with Sanders as QB. Career low receiving average, a viral end zone interception. The relationship needed work. Watson made the call. Florida, 3 months, private. Then OTAs opened. Watson went 11 for 17 with 6 TDs in the first open practice. Media consensus: Watson holds the edge. June 5th, Shedeur Sanders led the first-team offense in virtually every competitive drill. Cabot, paradigm shift. Cabot again, they're backing off Watson as the presumptive QB1. June 11th, Jeudy on Sanders in OTAs. More comfortable, more confident. June 11th, Shedeur Sanders at the podium. I think the way y'all look at things is different than how we look at things. Watson and Jeudy's Florida connection give Watson the real edge heading into training camp, or did Shedeur already shut it down? Watson and Jeudy trained privately in South Florida from mid-February through April 2026. 3 months, multiple receivers, 0 public record until Jeudy's Instagram story dropped the photo. The field responded with a full reversal. The facts: Watson training in South Florida since mid-February per Mary Kay Cabot, Cleveland. Watson threw with Jeudy, Isaiah Bond, and Jamari Thrash privately before OTAs, confirmed by ESPN's Daniel Oyefusi. December 2025, Jeudy Sanders sideline "That's Wrong" exchange. 5 catches, 11 targets, 75 yards, 0 touchdowns for Jeudy with Sanders as QB. Career low receiving average, a viral end zone interception. The relationship needed work. Watson made the call. Florida, 3 months, private. Then OTAs opened. Watson went 11 for 17 with 6 TDs in the first open practice. Media consensus: Watson holds the edge. June 5th, Shedeur Sanders led the first-team offense in virtually every competitive drill. Cabot, paradigm shift. Cabot again, they're backing off Watson as the presumptive QB1. June 11th, Jeudy on Sanders in OTAs. More comfortable, more confident. June 11th, Shedeur Sanders at the podium. I think the way y'all look at things is different than how we look at things. Watson and Jeudy's Florida connection give Watson the real edge heading into training camp, or did Shedeur already shut it down?